The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
Here we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, thanks. Good. How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico de Haan and Paige Clark.
Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced and natural wild world to recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. Good morning, I'm Nico de Haan. It's a beautiful day in downtown St. Petersburg. It's 56 degrees. Boy, it's gone down. It was 60 when I arrived here, and it is raining right now, real light rain. Kind of cool. It's going to be a cool day, about high of 65. It kind of spoils the whole thing for the spring breakers that are down here, but it's probably better than what's happening up north, right? Folks, today I'd like to remind you to pick up the Health Signals newsletter. Got a brand new one out there right now, and it starts with the seasonal flu, and that's not the only thing. Of course, there's many things in there that we talked about. The stuff all about movement with Katie Bowman's in there, and a lot more things. And of course, you can pick that up. You can pick that up on the TFNN website right here under Services. Pick up the Primal Edge and the Health Signals newsletter. It's only $10 a month for the Health Signals newsletter, and the Primal Edge can be picked up at $89 monthly, getting it to your door every single month. So that's important. I talked to Paige too, my partner in crime, and she's doing a lot better. She got the boot on. She's still not very mobile. She's got that little scooter thing that you put your knee on, but she can't really, she can go like forward and backwards with it, but kind of restrictive, doing the balancing thing. Probably maybe 1 or 2 more weeks before she's able to really get mobile, but she's feeling a lot better. She's moving around a little bit more. It's frustrating, I know, but we send her love and lots of caring and rehabilitation, so that's on the board for that. The other thing is I got an email from one of my wife's relatives, nephew, and he said that there's a Bigfoot Sasquatch museum in Bailey, Colorado. That's right near Shawnee, where my uncle used to have a place. Looks kind of interesting. When we get out to Colorado, I think my wife and I will be picking that up, taking a look at it and seeing what's going on before we see our friend Mark Abel from Colorado Bigfoot for another adventure this year. So looking forward to that. I'd like to remind you, well, I did that already, so I think we can get right into it. I want to talk today a little bit about stress. You know, last week we were talking about movement and how movement is really out of our life, and now we've got a lot of things that also are in our life that never used to be in our life before, which causes stress. And some of the questions about stress are important. One of the things that we hear is that stress causes cravings, and mostly the type of cravings that we go to because it helps us make us feel good. This is kind of a well-established thing. You have a terrible day at the office, your kids have appointments 20 miles apart within 15 minutes of each other, the traffic is backed up on your driveway, you're late for work, the dog needs to go for a walk, and you haven't even thought about what you're going to make for dinner. You slept only 4 hours late last night, and it all adds up. And we deal with a lot. So at that moment, the carbohydrate-based snack really does seem to take the edge off, and there's a lot of reasons for that. You know, across millions of years of our evolution, the human stress response developed in the context of real-world, short-term, and infrequent but intense stressors. We talk about battles and hunts and freak accidents, danger animal encounters, interpersonal conflicts, things like this. These were situations that demanded heightened senses, available fuel, and a rapid heart rate to deliver everything to the tissues that is needed to move and act. It makes perfect sense that your body to pump out the adrenaline, to increase fat burning and glucose in the blood. You need that fuel to deal with the situations. It also makes sense that your body to follow up with a blast of cortisol afterwards, which makes you crave the junk foods, the high carbs, to replace the fuel that you just used. Remember, folks, when we're in that stress situation in the old days, we were getting all available fuel, the fat we were using, but then the extra fuel that's packed around our muscles, the carbohydrates. We need those things, and of course afterwards cortisol to make the things a little bit better. The problem is that our modern stresses are way too frequent. They aren't physically demanding usually, and they aren't usually utilizing the fuel we mobilize. We have no real need for carb cravings that come after that. So it's really not the normal response that we would have. First of all, most of the stressors that we had when we were hunter and gatherers are related to physical activity, running away, defending yourself, things like that. But these days, we have more of a mental stress than anything else. You know, our brain just goes, yeah. And we see that in the things that develop in our society, the violence that is there. You know, we just went through the last couple of weeks of having terrible things in New Zealand, and now there was one in Holland just recently. And these put extra stress on us, but it's not the physical stress that we're used to. It's more of the mental stress on top of all the modern living stress that we have. So what happens when we eat too many carbs that we actually really don't need? Well, we get fat. That's what happens. Cellular energy supply becomes overloaded, impairing our mitochondria ability to process the energy effectively. This degrades the metabolic flexibility they have, and that's the ability to switch between the different fuel sources, preventing us from burning the fat in our bodies in between meals. We become reliant on the carbs instead. When we don't get them fast enough, our body receives this as a major stressor. So while we are giving into the cravings, the carb cravings can reduce the stress in the long term, it sets us up for longer term stress, more chronic stress. So there's another stress response that we have, and it's called glucogenesis. The primary goal of cortisol is to increase the glucose availability. It does this through multiple avenues. Remember that I said that your carbohydrates or glucose is packed around your muscles and it's in your bloodstream, but it doesn't really get stored anywhere, because if you get to store it, you store it as fat. So we need it available, and that's the job of cortisol, is kind of push that in there. So it does this through multiple avenues. One is to increase the carb craving. Another one is to make insulin resistant, thereby preventing insulin from sucking up the blood glucose. That's glucogenesis. The creation of glucose from amino acids and other substrates is another. So we have ways of getting our glucose when we don't have it through food. We have the ability to change things. If you're a sugar burner, stressful situations will increase the carb cravings, induce glycogenesis, and even make you insulin resistant in the long run. If you're fat adapted, however, the story shifts. A fat adapted person will have ketones and fatty acids available to provide the energy in between meals. A fat adapted person will have ketones and fatty acids to take care of those stressful situations. And we'll get into that a little bit more. So I'd like to remind you, first of all, folks, pick up your Primal Edge, our one-shot wonder, over 310 organic, cell-ready ingredients, all there to make you healthy. Pick that up today. I'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive.
We take it every morning. Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And welcome back to the show. So we're talking about the misunderstandings about carbs and stress, and we're at the point where we're talking about gluconeogenesis, and that's the stress response. So the primary goal of cortisol is to increase the availability of glucose because you're under stress, and if you're physically under stress, you need that little extra boost. Remember, the glucose is sitting there alongside of your muscles, and if it's not there, then the body's kind of searching for more carbs, and therefore it kind of spikes that, and your body's response is you're going to be craving those carbs. So if you're sugar burner, stressful situations will increase those carb cravings and induce the glyconeogenesis to make even more insulin resistance if you're not. And if you're fat adapted, the story is a lot easier because we'll have the ketones and the fatty acids already in there, and we also have, of course, the glucose in there too, so we're going to be all set. So the adaptation for this doesn't happen all at once. If your diet is low carb or keto, your body is still relying on sugar. If you were low carb before, then it makes it you will perceive the reduction of carb availability as a stressor. This is one of the hallmarks of the keto flu. It's one reason why some people extend the keto flu. Their bodies are still expecting demand for glucose. So if you're not able to tap in, if you're having that problem of tapping into your supplies of fat because you're eating a high carb diet, then the switch, once you switch over to low carb, may take a couple of weeks, but it may your body may be having problems because you've been on this other ride for so long. Some people will never get over carb cravings. They never fully adapt. This is a subset of the population that doesn't function or perform well on a long-term ketogenic diet. The cause is really unknown, at least for now. The author here suspects that it has something to do with a recent ancestry and genetic things that happened. Maybe that, your ancestors were carbers all along. I don't know. But what matters is that these people exist. For them, a long-term keto or very low carb diet approach will probably always be stressful. But even these folks spending some time in ketosis through the short-term low carb eating, intermittent fasting, or even extending low endurance activity that primarily burns fat is a good idea, and this will reduce the stress overall. Another question is, do carbs make exercise less stressful? Exercise is stressful to begin with, but then you adapt to the stress and overcome it, and eventually you become stronger, you become fitter, and you become faster than you were before. Without the stress, workouts don't work. Athletes have been doing this for decades and training on a low-carb state to get better at performing without the glycogen, and then going into a race with full of glycogen reserves and the ability to perform without glycogen. It kind of goes back and forth there. Exercising in that low glycogen state is stressful, but that's the whole point. It makes them better and stronger and faster, conserve glycogen for when you really need it. If you consistently perform a glucose intensity high intensity aerobic activity for extended amounts of time, then there's a long activity in the low glucose state, but there's always a breaking point, sort of a physiological limit. So, there is a thing that, when you do high intensity for a long, long time, that's a real stressor killer. These are these long ultra marathons. Even a marathon, I would say, is probably in that category. Earn the carbs you earn, it says here. This is a subtle point I don't often see made. The reverse is widely understood. Don't eat carbs, you don't earn, because millions of obese and overweight people do this every day. It's a big reason why we're so overweight. But if you fail to eat the carbs you earn through intense, proactive physical activity, you're creating an undeniable glycogen deficiency that your body may perceive as a stressor. It may turn out that the fully fat and keto-adapted athletes can perform intense, medium to long-term activities at high levels. And there's even an indication that in this case, but maybe for the first time, that it appears that eating carbs you earn can stave off the stress. So in other words, if you're doing these long marathon things and you do add carbs to it, then you're kind of reducing that stress. I think that's the point he's making here. Another question is, low-carb diets are stressful for women. And this is something I've seen too. Women are inherently more sensitive to calorie fluctuations than men on the average. The reason is sheer biology. Human evolution is concerned with fertility and reproduction. Can you produce, foster, and supply viable offspring? That's pretty awesome. Natural selection deems you fit to do that. To fulfill their biological role, men have to produce sperm. They can do this almost indefinitely. They don't run out, they just make more. If a batch is damaged to poor lifestyle or dietary choices, there's more on the way. After a man gets someone pregnant, the biological involvement with growing the baby is done, but not for the woman. To fulfill theirs, women have an infinite number of eggs or chances. Once an egg is gone, there's no replacing it. And so the body seeks to inoculate the egg from the environmental insults. So when you're preparing to get pregnant, your body needs extra nutrients to build up the reserve and prime the pump, so to speak. When you are pregnant, the growing baby needs a reliable, constant stream of nutrients for almost a year. After you've given birth, the newborn needs breast milk. To make breast milk, it requires additional calories, extra doses of specific nutrients. And modern technologies allows this to skip nursing and go straight to the bottle. But your body doesn't really know that. So some of the modern things that we do interferes with our natural ability to do away with stress and not have those carb cravings. So it is harder for women because they're in a stage of they can get pregnant, they are pregnant, they've had a baby. Now your body is, bringing up this baby, so to speak, even though it's already out of your body. Now your body's paying attention to it for the next couple of years. Your body is expected to provide the nourishment for that baby. And we, a lot of times, will short-circuit that. Let's see, what is carbs come in. One, carbohydrates consumption is uniquely hued to our senses of calorie sufficiency. If carbs are plentiful, your body perceives that as a signal of environmental plenty. The weather is good, the plants are producing, the leaves on the tree are bearing fruit, and the men are bringing back kind of lots of honey. Life is good. It's perfect time to get pregnant. So this is the way the body kind of works. There's also an issue of complete satiety. Low-carb diets are often become low-carb diets without even trying. So that's why they work well for weight loss. By reducing the amount of food you eat and increasing satiety, that's the way it works. But for some women, especially those who are approaching their ideal weight, going too low in calories can increase stress. So women do have more stressful. I think there's more stress is placed on them psychologically from a point of view of the society. You know, and we're so much into this. I mean, we're made to wear clothes that are not freedom of movement and things, and we'll get into that a little bit when we get back. So stick around, folks. I'll be back in a few minutes. Meanwhile, please pick up the Primal Edge. Please pick up our Health Signals newsletter, and I'll be right back.
Would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. The Taz Profile Scanner is the most revolutionary piece of trading software that you will ever try. Wouldn't you like to approach the markets with confidence? As you begin your trading day, it's likely that you'll be faced with lots of decisions. In order to make the best decision, the first thing you'll need is a strategy that will help you minimize your risks. Whether we're in a bull or bear market, a good strategy is to have the tools needed to help you scan and analyze the markets before you trade. The Taz Profile Scanner instantly scans and filters over 2,500 global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, president of Taz Market Profile, the Taz Profile Scanner understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications, automated trading algorithms, and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. Whether you're looking at the trade matrix, the ETF heat grid, the market breadth, the landscape charts, or the many other features of the Taz Profile Scanner, this is a piece of software that will revolutionize how you look at the markets and set up your trades. The team at Taz has even put together a 12-part video series to walk you through every aspect of the Taz Profile Scanner, which you can find directly on the Taz order page at tfnn.com. Sign up now for only $97 a month with a risk-free 30-day trial, so you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. See for yourself how you can harness the full power of the Taz Profile Scanner by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the Taz Profile Scanner under the Services section. Remember, with a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Don't let another day pass you by without trying out this amazing piece of software that will revolutionize how you look at the market and how you place trades. Sign up today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And welcome back. I want to sum this up. We're talking about stress and carbs, and if you're unable to access your own body fat in between meals for energy, and this is what happens if you eat a high-carb diet, then you'll be in a big ball of stress, and you won't be able to eat enough of these little carb cravings that you have. It's a roller coaster ride. You'll be satisfied for a few minutes. You'll get more and more. It's a constant battle. If you keep pumping yourself full of carbs to keep your blood glucose topped off, you'll keep the stress at bay, but you'll also be teetering kind of on the precipice, but add more stress later on in your life. If you're exercising this, then you should strike a balance between gaining the adaptive benefits of training in a low-carb state and eating your carbs that you earn. And eating your carbs that you earn is that you're going to be going to work out for the next hour or so, and you can eat some carbs beforehand. That's one way of doing it. The other thing, if you're a woman, then you're probably more sensitive to diet-induced stress and may benefit from occasional carbohydrate refeedings. You should watch out for excessive being satisfied on the carbohydrate or on the ketogenic diet, which is great for your weight loss, but can lead to stress issues down the line if your calories get too low. So be careful. You need to get enough fuel in you. The relationship between carbohydrates and stress isn't exactly straightforward, but you can navigate it. Hopefully you get something out of this. I'll be putting this into the next newsletter, of course. There's a book that I'm reading. Let's see. It's called Your Body Keeps Score. And it's an important book, and it talks about the brain, the mind, and the body, and the healing of trauma, and specifically the type of trauma from war and from things like that. But if you're interested in reducing your stress, then this is a good way of doing it too, reading something like this. Another article about stress that I wanted to go over a little bit is that scientists think that when you're working 9 to 5 on a working day, it should be banished, and he's got good reasons for that. Of course, our body has an internal clock that we use, and it goes really by the sun. And it gets confusing when we have to jump forward and go backwards in the spring and the fall. It's we're on these tight schedules. A lot of times you have to be at work at 9 and you get off at 5. Some people are 10 to 6. Some people are 8 to 3 or whatever. Some people have the night shift. If you're a bartender or you work in the food industry, you're going to have odd hours. And these things all add up to different types of stressors. They had a research at the University of Birmingham. They tested 38 people who identified as night owls or morning larks. So they want to really see the difference. The former were identified as on the average of those who went to bed at 2:30 a.m. and woke up at 10:15, and the latter, the ones that were the daytime ones, went to bed before 11, woke up around 6:30. Each participant's body clock was monitored continuously, and they were asked to answer questionnaires on their levels of sleepiness, and then they underwent MRI scans, and they were given a series of tasks to do at different times of the day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The morning people reported feeling less tired during the early morning tasks. They also had the fastest reaction time during the early part of the day, a reaction time that was significantly faster than the night owls. Those who went to bed and woke up later experienced the least amount of sleepiness, and the fastest reaction times were at 8 p.m. However, they did not perform significantly better than the morning larks at that time. They found that the brain connectivity in the regions were able to predict lower sleepiness and better performance level at significantly higher times, all the times in the morning larks, but not in the other part. So a lot of stuff in here. I'm going to put this in the next newsletter also. And there's another one too that I wanted to get to, and this is called Ladies Ditch the Bra. And of course I don't have an experience in this, but I do know that it's got to be stressful. And especially if you have large breasts and things like that, I think it's very confining. I think we have a problem, when we're talking about movement. We have a lot of different clothes that we wear that are kind of restrictive, not too comfortable. You know, the necktie for the guys, high heels for the girls, the tight skirts, which can't make you move. You have to sit in certain situations. These are stressors too. But one thing they found out, there's a significant evidence of a relationship between bras and breast cancer. Sydney Ross Singer authored a book called Dress to Kill. They interviewed about 4,000 women in 5 major U.S. cities over 2 years. Half the women had been diagnosed with breast cancer. This is what they found. 75% of women who slept in their bras developed breast cancer. 1 in 7 who wore their bras 12 or more hours per day developed breast cancer. 1 in 68 who did not wear a bra developed breast cancer. And within 1 month of ditching their bras, women with cysts, breast pain, or tenderness found their symptoms had disappeared. In 1991, there was an article of the European Journal of Cancer found that premenopausal women who do not wear bras had half the risk of breast cancer compared to with bra users. The data also suggests that the bra cup size and breast size may be a risk factor also for breast cancer. Cancer is not a disease, according to Andres Mortiz, revealed that Japanese Fijians and women from other cultures were found to have a significant higher likelihood of developing breast cancer when they began wearing bras. His book explains how cancer is an adaptive healing mechanism, arguing that people would die more quickly if the body did not form cancer cells. His book explains how cancer is an adaptive healing mechanism, arguing that people would die more quickly if the body did not form cancer cells. That's interesting. So he's saying that the cancer cells actually is extending a person's life because of the stress, perhaps. Bras and girdles can reduce the melatonin levels. Japanese researchers found that lower melatonin by 60%. And melatonin has anti-cancer properties also. And Spanish researchers wrote about the use of melatonin in breast cancer prevention and treatment. So there's no downsides to being conscious, the author says. Am I suggesting that there's a causal relationship or a definite proof of a causal relationship? No, but I suggest to you you should be conforming to the National Cancer. There's a longer discussion. Many of us don't want to wait. A lot of women don't want to give up their bras, blah, blah, go bras. The things to do, considering, go braless as much as possible. It actually gets easier. When those muscles and ligaments are forced to bear the weight of our breasts, muscle tone returns. The more you wear a bra, the more you need to wear a bra. Chest muscles and breast ligament atrophy, which then makes it feel uncomfortable to go braless. So the actual part of wearing a bra is what causes the weakness in the muscles. Makes sense. You're supporting something that naturally is supported on its own, and so it goes. Interesting. Anyway, folks, I'll be right back. Stick around. I got a lot more, and meanwhile, pick up some Primal Edge on the way out. I'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And welcome back to the show. So, we've been talking about stress, and one of the biggest stressor is really this high-carb diet. And what really started us on this high-carb diet really is kind of the sugar industry. There's other things involved, like the cereals and agriculture and things like that. But when we started upping the sugar, that's when our problems really began. So I'm now going to this paper by Green Med Info is Sugar Papers Expose the Industry Plot to Frame Fat for Heart Disease. So it sounds like a movie plot in a way. Researchers at the University of California, San Francisco have uncovered long hidden truths that manufacturers of sugary foodstuffs would prefer to have us ignore. An analysis of internal sugar industry documents has exposed what executives really knew about the health hazards of sugar and their scrupulous or unscrupulous plans to get it down our throats at any cost. The article is entitled The Sugar Industry and Coronary Heart Disease Research, a historical analysis of internal industry documents. And the authors are Stanton Glantz and Laura Schmid and Kristen Kearns. They expose how sugar industry executives buried the truth about the risk of sugar consumption in effort to push their products on an unsuspecting public. Authors of the analysis published in the September 2016 journal Internal Medicine combed the public archives to uncover the trove of nearly 1,600 pages of internal sugar industry communications referred to as the Sugar Papers. The document exposed a sinister scheme to boost sales of sugar during a time in our collective history when public health was facing unprecedented risks that spotlight an increasing unhealthy American diet. The science linked sugar to the heart disease, and it was in the mid-50s that the medical research community began to link sugar consumption with high blood cholesterol and triglyceride levels, two of the primary risks for coronary heart disease. The Sugar Papers revealed that the executives at the Sugar Research Foundation, an internal sugar industry trade organization, were very aware of the link between sugar and heart disease. The heart disease was the leading cause of death in the United States at the time, and it still holds today. And public concern about preventing this was growing. This dangerous association did not deter the sugar people from growing nationwide. They wanted to, it was a harmful mandate that we now know in retrospect was staggeringly successful. Since the 1950s, American sugar intake has increased threefold. It is estimated that an average American now consumes between 120 and 170 pounds of sugar each year. My goodness, I think there's a little graph here that shows you just how this thing went from the 1820s, when we were barely consuming anything, that it really started going up and up right after the turn of the century. And this is when we started producing sugar, you know, sugar cane, sugar beets, things like that. Before that, we really didn't have much of it. Most of our carbohydrates that were processed came from our cereals, and we didn't really consume a lot of cereals. They were just there as a complement to our main food, which was always the meat. And if you have meat and then a little bit of the starches like a potato or some rice or some wheat or things like that, then it's not going to be that bad. But when you start your day that way, and you start your day with a glass of orange juice, which is all sugar, and then the cereal on top of it, and then you have the low-fat milk, you know, you can see how this compounds. So they figured the analysis came and focused on communications between two men, Roger Ames, then professor of organic chemistry, and the sugar industry advisor, who was D. Mark Hegsted, one of the Harvard researchers who produced Project 226. Communications revealed several interesting facts. Sugar executives paid Harvard $50K in today's dollars to set the objectives for the project. Critical facts were suspected about the role of blood triglycerides in the CHD in order to focus solely on the role of saturated fats and cholesterol. Industry executives contributed biased pro-sugar articles for inclusion in the project. The source of the funding and blatant conflict interest was never disclosed. So there are all kinds of ways that we can manipulate the outcome of a study, which the industry is very well practiced at. He pays the piper and calls the tune. So the heart disease is not the only negative health outcome from the high sugar and the low-fat diet. Says Sugar, the Bitter Truth was a good video that I saw too. His research has led him to conclude that 75% of all diseases in America are caused by lifestyle choices and are in fact entirely preventable, and they are the cause of from carbohydrates. Perhaps the most shocking truth that the sugar papers reveal is the ease with which medical research standards can be violated and the public trust betrayed. The author of this analysis stated that when speaking about the research, that it demonstrated the need for a more transparent scientific process. Yeah, how about the companies not doing their own tests? How about we have independent people do the tests like we used to? The authors emphasize the importance of ensuring that the scientific reviews remain free of conflicts of interest. Yeah, this is a no-brainer. There is now a considerable body of evidence linking added sugar to hypertension and cardiovascular disease, which is the #1 cause of premature death in the developed world. So this is primarily a problem here in the United States, Canada, Western Europe, people who are on this style diet, and it seems like that diet is increasing more and more. You just have to go out to the malls and to the airports to see what's happening to the people. And most of the time when you see these heavy people sitting down at the airport, you see them eating or drinking something. People who are thin don't need that. We're already fueled. And when you have a lot of fuel packed on you and you can't access it, that's a big problem, folks. So we know that for years and years that the sugar industry has been advertising, and I always say that if they're advertising the food, it's probably not good for you. That's pretty much a standard, I think, that you can count on. So they're not going to be advertising prime meats that are good unless it's just a local butcher. But we don't even see local butchers anymore. Everything's gotten larger and larger, so these large companies have control over what we eat, making it much more difficult. You know, we have a large group of people that eat only fast food. We have a large group of people that eat TV dinners and prepared food. We have a large group of people in our society that eat processed food, food that goes through many processes that are already kind of what your body does. You know, our body is basically a processing plant. So we're made to process these foods. There's another article here that Paige sent me, was talking about. Let me see if I can find that. Well, I'll look for it during the break. Yeah, here it is right here. So we'll go into that after we come back. Stick around, folks. I got a little bit more, and I'm glad you're sticking around. Please pick up the Primal Edge. Please pick up our Health Signals newsletter, and I'll be back in a minute.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools, as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
TFNN has put together the best lineup of live content for traders by traders every market day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected minds in the business. TFNN broadcasts 5 days a week live from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We have live programming every market day during market hours. Every morning, Larry Pesavento kicks off the trading day live at 9 a.m. and breaks down the opening bell with Trade What You See. At 10 a.m., Tom and Tommy O'Brien host the TFNN Bull Bear Trading Hour, followed at 11 a.m. by the team at TD Ameritrade and Thinkorswim with Fast Market. Basil Chapman hosts the Tiger Technicians Hour at noon, Steve Rhodes at 1 p.m. with the Trader's Edge, Dave White at 2 p.m. with the Power Trading Hour, and Tom O'Brien anchors the daily lineup from 3 till 5 as host of the Tom O'Brien Show. Tune in to TFNN's Tiger TV on your computer or mobile device, and you can always find us streaming on YouTube. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Welcome back to the show. I was talking about the stress that our modern society gives us. Here's an article on the ancient switch to soft food gave us an overbite, but also the ability to pronounce F's and V's. I guess without the overbite, we couldn't have pronounced those things. So in the old days, we didn't pronounce those. But when humans switched to processed foods after the spread of agriculture, they put less wear and tear on their teeth. They changed the growth of their jaws, giving adults the overbites normal in children. Within a few thousand years, the slight overbites made it easier for people in farming cultures to fire off sounds like F and V, opening the world to new words. The new favored consonants helped spur the diversification of languages in Europe and in Asia for at least 4,000 years, and they led to such changes as the replacement of the Proto-Indo-European pater, the Old English fader, about 15, I don't know what that is. But the paper shows that the cultural shift can change our biology in such a way that it affects our language. But it also did a lot more than affect our language. It created a weaker jaw. I remember Paige talks about that, and she's in the middle of getting that nice jawline back. So we've been following people who have been able to get your jaw more forward, and there's this thing called mewing, and we'll probably go into that when Paige comes back. But I thought this was interesting because it's there's a lot of consequences to changing the way we ate, and this is just one of them. It shows that when Weston Price went to these islands in the Pacific, he found people with much wider jaws. They didn't have the overbite. They were much healthier. They could see better. And when they switched foods, so at that time, it was around the turn of the century, the 1900s, 18th to 1900s, where he went out. It was in the 1920s, I think that specifically he was in that area. And he found that the people who had already switched over to the modern foods in communities like the island communities and like the Eskimos and things like that, their health went down, and part of that was the jaw and the teeth. So it's interesting stuff, and I'll be putting this in the next newsletter. So look forward to that. That's it for today. I don't know. I don't think Paige will be back next week, but maybe the week after that, we'll see. And we send her some healing light. Thanks for sticking around, folks. See you next time. Bye-bye.